On November 17, 2011, I went into the operating room for a lipoma, or fatty tissue tumor removal from my right armpit. Nothing dangerous, just the risk of any general anesthetic operation. Nonetheless, I had a feeling that something was going to go wrong. The anesthesiologist had the wrong file and began measuring my throat to perform a tracheotomy. My last operation caused complications with the tubes, according to her. She was inexperienced, and she was also mistaken about the guy that came before me. Anyway, I had to see my family doctor, and he sent me to the hospital's reception to make sure everything was well because I was nervous. They sent me to the wrong wing of the hospital during the operation because the nurse told me there were no beds available where they had taken me. They rushed me up because they'd been seeking for me for an hour around the hospital by mistake. I gave them the entry paperwork, which inquire whether you have any allergies or what medications you're taking. Penicillin causes an allergic reaction in me. To insert the tubes, they jabbed me 3 times. The doctor objected since, in his opinion, this operation was purely cosmetic. When I was signing paperwork, I overheard him repeating it to someone. I noticed the anesthetist's face, and thank God, he wasn't the same as before. There were 3 nurses, the door guard, the person who put the tubes, the doctor, and the anesthetist in the operating room from then on. It appeared to be a celebration. When the anesthesia was being administered, I felt my shoulder being stroked, and a voice said, "You will be here soon." My instinct was to get up at that point, and I did so, leaving my body. It gave me time to look at the nurses' skeletons like an X-ray. It was completely dark, and I began to feel cold and humid. I even detected a foul odor. When I sat up, I brushed up against something made of metal. It was the sound of metal, as if tripping on a small table with metal on it. I became aware of the bump on my leg. "This way," the voice said. I walked around what I assumed was the operation table in the dark. To my surprise, I was seeing nothing but blackness. I noticed a light in the distance at the rear. I took a step forward, but it began to move up, down, and to both sides. I sensed it was leaving, so I followed this man. I realized how softly I had taken hold of him, and I began to rise. I noticed a light. I was assuming it was the operating room light, the lighting. I wanted to visit the surgery room, but there was nothing there. I felt alone in the darkness for a little while. When I looked down, I noticed a man on a hill waving his arms and saying, "Hey! Here! Down here!" I began to feel scared. I had no idea what to do. He began approaching me and dragging me down. Once down, I saw a tree and said loudly, "The tree of life." They gave me a photograph-like image of the Kabbalah. A man appeared from behind me at that precise moment. He looked at me with such calm and affection in his eyes, with such warmth that I was not afraid. It gave me confidence, so I stayed. I was in awe of him because he had really fine golden chestnut hair, clear eyes, and was dressed in brown. He was touching, like some lights in the tree, before turning and smiling again, full of warmth and love. Wait, this is real, I thought at one point. Looking around, I had the impression that I was actually there. I could feel the breeze blowing and see how it moved what appeared to be wheat. I'm not sure because I was seeing things in black and white. "Soon, you'll be here," he said again. "But for the time being, this is going to be your location. Starting now, everything is going to be okay in a little while, and everything is going to turn out okay." I asked him a mental question regarding an issue I was having, and he confirmed it with a nod of his head. We sat beneath a tree. "Be prepared," he said. "A lot of things are going to happen. There will be changes, but they will be for the better." He was telling me mentally, and I was nodding in agreement. When I observed a hole in the cosmos, It looked like something out of a movie. Then I noticed a quarter of a large orange celestial body, as if in panoramic view. Then, as though propelled by something, a gray planet appeared. It moved, pushed again, and rose so high that it passed above my head. It was gloomy and cratered. The craters were fully visible to me. The next thing I saw was a sunny, seemingly regular day, with a landscape with the sky, some stones, and fields. I averted my gaze when I noticed a strong gust of dust entering the atmosphere. Then I noticed the water had turned to mud and was pulling rubble. A lot of rubble. Because I was concerned about what I had seen, I began to jest, saying, "Not terrible that I won't be there to see it." Then I stood up and came to a sudden halt, as if possessed by fear. I watched how the earth opened up beneath my feet in such a way that I felt it, as if I were falling in a vacuum. Then another image was displayed. It was a lovely day in the mountains, and everyone was dressed in white. I was looking at them from behind. A blonde female with her hair tied back. Then I noticed additional people dressed in white walking uphill. They appeared to be brimming with energy and light. When I saw them, I raised my palm as though in victory and joy, a euphoric joy I'd never known. I saw the words faith and hope written in large letters. More than that, I felt them. People with their backs to me were greeting them with happy gestures with their hands. Then he warns me, "Hurry, someone is coming. Perhaps someone you know or will know." I looked around and noticed a little shadow approaching. I lowered my head as if within something, and noticed a sleeping little black puppy. He gazed at me when he opened his eyes. "No, not that," said the man. "That should arrive in a few days. Let's see how you take it," he added. "Begin rehearsing for when you arrive." Then this shadow lay down, and I called him Offrey, which didn't sound right, so I renamed him Coffee, after a friend's female dog whom I was caring for a few days. I assumed it was her. I became overjoyed and began to run and play with her around there. I opened my eyes and saw the operating room, but I wanted to stay there. I'm not sure how, but I came back and saw this man again. I began to think, this isn't real. "Vanish," I said. "Disappear," multiple times. And he did. But he kept talking to me in the dark. There wasn't much light, yet it felt like I was in the cosmos. I could only see a few objects in color. "Come, get close," he said. "I'm going to show you somebody who'll be here with you." I began to stroll in the darkness, as if hunting for his voice and trying to see something, when he suddenly showed me a large poster with lights in this person's face and body, because it was the entire size. I was impressed and began walking backwards until I felt like I was falling into a vacuum. I was descending at breakneck speed. When I was falling, I could feel the speed in my face. Then I awoke in the surgery room. With a quick movement, I sat up and began to cry. This is my tale. I tell it in case I can help someone understand or prepare for something. Thank you for your consideration. Before coming into the surgery room, I was in really bad shape. I was miserable, alone and without hope. I wished to die there and never wake up again. I was ready to leave this planet. I wanted to die that day. After that, my faith was rejuvenated and hopeful. I've been looking into whether what I saw there, what was presented to me, might be accurate. Everything leads in that direction. I'm not a scientist, but I spoke with an astrologer here in Spain, and it appears that a wave is emanating from the core of the galaxy. There were videos available on YouTube.